The deafening roar of a packed Croke Park in Dublin was momentarily silenced as Taylor Swift, bathed in the warm glow of stage lights, paused her performance. "There's someone special here tonight," she began, a playful glint in her eyes, "and I want to tell him, I think, maybe. June 13, 2025, would be a lovely date." The crowd erupted, catching on to her not-so-subtle hint as the cameras found Travis Kelce, her NFL star boyfriend, looking stunned and wide-eyed in the VIP section. The following morning, the news of Taylor's engagement announcement was splashed across headlines worldwide. Backstage at her Dublin hotel, Travis, still reeling from the surprise, paced the room, phone pressed to his ear. "Mom, did you see it? It's insane. We haven't even talked about it like that, you know?" He ran a hand through his hair, a mixture of amusement and anxiety painted on his face. Meanwhile, Taylor, in the adjoining room, was curled up on a sofa, giggling at the pandemonium she'd created. She'd always been a master of dramatic flair, both in her music and her personal life. But this time, she'd truly outdone herself. The image of Travis's flabbergasted expression was seared into her memory, a delightful reminder of the power she held over her man. Days later, in a secluded villa overlooking the Irish countryside, Travis finally confronted Taylor. "Babe, what was that all about?" he asked, a nervous laugh escaping his lips. Taylor simply smiled and leaned in, her voice a soft whisper as she traced the contours of his face. "Don't you like surprises, Travis?" The couple spent the rest of their Dublin stay holed up in their love nest, away from the prying eyes of the media. It was a time of deep connection and honest conversations, as they navigated the uncharted waters of their whirlwind romance. Travis, ever the romantic, realized that Taylor's public declaration was her way of expressing her deep love and commitment to him. It was unconventional, yes, but it was also undeniably Taylor. Back in the States, the Kelce Swift engagement saga continued to captivate the public. As the couple stepped out for a date night in New York City, paparazzi swarmed them, desperate for a glimpse of the ring. Travis, sporting a mischievous grin, held up his hand, revealing a simple string tied around his ring finger. "It's a promise ring," he declared, winking at Taylor, who was beaming beside him. The media had a field day with the string ring, but for Travis and Taylor, it was a symbol of their unique bond. It was a reminder that their love story was one for the ages, a tale filled with unexpected twists, public declarations, and, above all, an unwavering commitment to each other. The deafening roar of the Croke Park crowd in Dublin was a familiar friend to Travis Kelce. Yet, tonight, an icy shiver ran down his spine, a stark contrast to the usual warmth of the spotlight. Taylor Swift, his radiant girlfriend, had just delivered a mesmerizing performance. But the echo of her words during the song "Lover," altered with a sly wink, reverberated through his mind. "Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand? With every guitar string scar on my hand, I take this magnetic force of a man to be my lover. And to my boyfriend watching, I can't wait to say yes this December." The crowd erupted in a cacophony of cheers, their collective gaze shifting towards a dumbstruck Kelce in the VIP section. His heart pounded against his ribs like a frantic drummer on overdrive. December? Engagement? He had been toying with the idea, sure, but Taylor's audacious declaration had just catapulted his plans into warp speed. After the concert, backstage was a whirlwind of congratulations and champagne toasts. But Kelce felt as if he were in a dream, the words "December engagement" looping in his mind like a broken record. Taylor, ever the enigma, wore a playful smirk that both thrilled and terrified him. Later that night, in their hotel suite overlooking the twinkling lights of Dublin, Kelce finally found his voice. "December, huh?" he asked, his voice a mixture of amusement and disbelief. Taylor leaned in, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Well, you know how I love a good surprise," she purred. "Besides, you've been dropping hints for months. I figured I'd just make it official and memorable." Kelce, despite being one of the NFL's most charismatic tight ends, found himself at a loss for words. All he could do was pull Taylor into his arms and kiss her deeply, the taste of champagne and the promise of December mingling on their lips. The next morning, news of Taylor's onstage announcement had set the internet ablaze. Memes, speculation, and hashtags like #KelseySwiftWedding flooded social media. Kelce, a man accustomed to the limelight, found himself even more in the spotlight, the December engagement becoming a national countdown. Despite the chaos, a sense of giddy anticipation settled over Kelce. The idea of spending his life with Taylor, the woman who could make him speechless with a single wink, filled him with a joy that eclipsed any Super Bowl victory. December couldn't come soon enough. The lights dimmed, casting a warm glow over the massive crowd. Dublin's Aviva Stadium thrummed with anticipation. Taylor Swift, adorned in a glittering bodysuit, emerged from beneath the stage amidst a burst of fireworks. The crowd's roar was deafening. Backstage, Travis Kelce watched, his heart pounding in his chest. This tour had been an emotional roller coaster, their love story unfolding under the world's watchful eye. The connection they shared was undeniable, their affection genuine. Yet, Taylor's declaration tonight was unexpected. "You know I love surprises," Taylor winked at the camera, a playful smile on her face, before turning to the microphone. "And tonight, Dublin, I have a special announcement." Travis held his breath, his gaze locked on the screen. The stadium fell silent. "By this time next year," Taylor began, her voice barely a whisper, "I expect to be." She paused, her eyes scanning the crowd, before landing on the camera. Her smile widened. "Engaged." Travis' heart skipped a beat. Engaged? He had known they were serious, but this was a whole new level. A whirlwind of emotions swirled inside him, surprise, joy, and a hint of fear. The crowd erupted in a frenzy of cheers and applause. Backstage, Travis' team erupted in celebration, slapping him on the back and offering their congratulations. He forced a smile, but his mind raced. He had always envisioned proposing to Taylor, doing it his way, in a special moment they would share. Now, it felt as if the decision had been taken from him. But he reminded himself of Taylor's love for spontaneity, her penchant for grand gestures. This was just another chapter in their unique love story. He watched the rest of the concert in a daze. As Taylor sang Love Story, her eyes met his through the screen. It was a look full of love, mischief, and a silent question. He nodded, a single tear escaping his eye. Later that night, they met in Taylor's dressing room. The air was thick with tension. "You surprised me tonight," Travis said, his voice barely a whisper. Taylor stepped closer, her eyes sparkling. "I know," she replied, cupping his face in her hands. "I couldn't wait any longer." "I love you, Travis." He pulled her close, kissing her deeply. He knew this was the start of a new adventure, one filled with love, laughter, and surprises. "I love you too, Taylor," he whispered. "And yes, I'll marry you." Their engagement became the next sensation, their love story captivating the world once more. The couple embraced the whirlwind, their journey proving that love could blossom in the most unexpected places.